Hvala lepa. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jana Pacek Prove, Mr. Anne Mesle, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody understand English in this room. I think the most effective way to remember particular country that we visit is by lost in translation. I remember once, the first time I came to Ljubljana, beside the words Hvala lepa and Dobartek, I know the third words is racun. Because after having a cafe, and then I asked for the bill, and the waiter said racun. I was a bit surprised why they give me racun, because racun in my language, in Bahasa Indonesia, means poison. So since then, so I remember these words, so I think because of this, I really love fall in love in Slovenia. That's why I asked my colleague in these presentations to put these pictures. This is not blood, but similar to blood, with this mountain and water. Or instead of having a church in the middle, but we have this temple. This is really a fantastic view, very much similar to blood. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is actually one series of our endeavors, our efforts to promote Indonesia in Slovenia, and at the same time also on our part, we always trying to promote Slovenia in Indonesia, because as Slovenian probably do not know that much Indonesia, as well as Indonesia do not know that much Slovenia, because they always confuse between Slovenia and Slovakia. Of course, we always explain to them that Slovenia is much more beautiful. A lot of things to see in Slovenia. Then more and more people want to come to Slovenia. That's actually our effort also to promote Slovenia in my country, and to the Indonesian who by chance they visited Vienna. And this is actually also our efforts to make tourism promotion. This first in this kind, but we made a lot of activities in terms of promotion of culture in Slovenia. We visited Nova Gorica, we went to Portorož, we went to Koper, and of course most of our activities are here in Ljubljana. We brought artists, we brought painters, which had an exhibition for 2 weeks in Ljubljana, and also we had a lecture, a joint lecture with University of Primorska, University of Nova Gorica, and also, of course, with the University of Ljubljana. So a lot of things has been done actually to improve and to increase the mutual understanding between two countries, Indonesia and Slovenia, which we believe we found so many common interests of the two countries to work very, very closely together. Of course, tourism is one part of way to promote this mutual understanding and mutual respect. As I believe, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the tourism business is exceptionally complex indeed, and has long series in which its tying knots connect them to form a network consisting of planning, organizing, controlling of the material flow of every department it passes through, ranging from superior to the goods storehouse. But products sold in the tourism sector do not all embody in material form, but in the abstract one that is called image. That's what we would like to sell, is image, actually, about Indonesian tourism here in Slovenia and about Slovenian tourism also in Indonesia. Whoever can provide the best image to tourists will become a champion, the most influential in the tourism business. The tourism sector, as you very well understand, is an important component of the Indonesian economy, as well as a significant source of our country foreign exchange revenue. In 2011, the number of international tourists arriving in Indonesia climbed by 9.24% to 7.65 million arrivals from about 7 million in the year 2010. The average length of stays was 7.84 days, and the average amount of spending by international tourists was $1,118 US per person. For this year, 2012, the government of Indonesia has set a target of reaching 8 million international tourists visiting Indonesia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, wonderful Indonesia is our tourism brand and motto that clearly depicts the variety of interesting tourism objects and destinations offered by Indonesia. As a widely dispersed archipelagic country with more than 17,500 islands. I know Bled has more than one island, I think. Slovenia has one island, I think, in the middle of the Bled. So we have 17,000 islands. I don't think I can visit every island in my life, and I need to reborn for it 10 times to visit all this island. Actually, the Indonesian, such a huge country, covers 1.9 million square kilometers. Actually, land. This is 1.9 square kilometers land, and more than 2 million square kilometers, which consists of sea water. So in total, our area is more than 4 million square kilometers. It's a really huge country, and a lot of opportunities that we can see. We have also around 55,000 kilometers of shoreline, and Indonesia has great potential to become one of the most popular tourism destinations in the world. From its natural beauty, historical heritage, and cultural diversity to modern amenities, Indonesia has many interesting places to see. The hospitality of the people combined with the warm tropical weather, waits you and will make your visit to Indonesia enjoyable. From Aceh in the western part of Indonesia to Papua, the eastern territory of Indonesia, you can find unique cultures and great variety of captivating moments that will make your journey unforgettable. A recent survey by World Economic Forum on tourism competitiveness in 139 countries, Indonesia ranked 17th in terms of natural resources, with several World Heritage natural sites and a variety of flora and fauna. For example, orangutans, this is the monkeys, which very unique creature, and Komodo dragons you will find later on the screen. The survey also places Indonesia 39th in terms of heritage resources, with 8 World Heritage cultural sites, including the famous Borobudur Temple, the biggest Buddhist temple in the world, and of course, as I said, the Komodo, which belong to the 7 wonders. Ladies and gentlemen, the beauty of Indonesia is also illustrated by the existence of a huge number of beautiful beaches, among others the famous in Bali, Lombok, Raja Ampat, Bunaken, and also beach in Tapak Tuan in Aceh, and many more actually. As you are probably well aware, Bali has been named the most beautiful island by International Tourism magazine many times, and has become a major tourist destination. And Bali also was named as the best spa places in the world. The breathtaking scenery, beautiful wild sandy beaches, and the unique art and culture are among the reasons for Bali's popularity with tourists. Many of you are probably familiar with the beautiful and inspirational book written by Elizabeth Gilbert. The title is Eat, Pray, and Love, which recently was filmed with Julia Roberts as a movie star in this movie. The main character learns the meaning of true love in Bali. Balinese art and culture is a combination of love and spirituality. Furthermore, also known as the island of gods, the islands of thousands of temples, Bali enchants with various dramatic dances and colorful ceremonies. You saw just now one of the very popular dance in Bali. Creativity in arts and crafts, luxurious beach resorts, pristine beaches, exciting entertainment, surfing and diving adventures, as well as inspirational spirituality. But do not forget also, you can find a local wine made in Bali now. So we produce a wine also in Bali now. The Balinese, who embrace mostly the Hindu religion, 95% of Balinese live in Bali, are Hindu. They are dedicated a large part of their lives to rites and ceremonies aimed at maintaining harmony in this world. As you are probably aware, like what we have in this picture, Balinese tourism mostly based on very religious motto, which called Tri Hita Karana. This very concept actually as a universal civilization concept that can be interpreted as three main factors that are tremendously influential, whether it has been fulfilled or not. The mission of Bali's tourism, namely accomplishing people's prosperity without annihilating natural, cultural, and social environment. These three factors of what is called Tri Hita Karana are now human manages in their relation to the Almighty God, fellow humans, and natural environment. If the tourism people could manage harmonious relation to the Creator within themselves, will arise an harmonious mind, word, and action that is in accord with divine teachings. If the mind is based on His teachings, the God teaching, so intellect, thought, and imagination to look for fortune, benefits, advantage, and profit from a business activity will always be based on the intention of goodness and prosperity. The concept of Tri Hita Karana in the Balinese tourism management is to make tourism as something pleasant, since the spirit residing inside the conceptual trilogy automatically makes the tourism people to behave friendly and kindly to tourists. Thus, tourism will become something beneficial for all and give prosperity to all living beings and the environment. Since the mind and word have been harmonized based on the divine teachings, so the concept of Tri Hita Karana does not only become a guidelines for tourism of Bali, but also the world. From this point, Bali will become a world inspiration to achieve pure prosperity in their life. When we talk about tourism in Indonesia, we should not forget actually, based on history, actually the Indonesian tourism started actually from Bali in 1930s, far before our independence in 1945. Actually, in the 1930s, without the touch of social engineering, Bali was so poor still that time. Tourists were interested to come since there was a magnet with an extraordinary attractive power on the island of Bali. Then, Bali was still capable of providing pure nature. Perhaps its condition was not different from that of the previous century. Their people were still unadorned, showed natural appearance, smiled friendly in a bit of shy way, and were proud to welcome the presence of tourists. So the culture of tourism in Bali actually started from 1930s. In their daily life, the Balinese people come into being as they were and put on simple clothes. Women only wore a piece of fabric that was twisted in a simple manner on their waist here and left their chest up open, just like a man. Only before the god it was necessary to present more neatly in a ritual atmosphere from to and the time of worshipping at the temple, Balinese look immensely artistic, wore the most beautiful and excellence of clothes, especially the women, and covered parts of their bodies with the nicest sashes. They put the best offerings for the deities, offerings composed of selected fruits, the best quality rice, and a coconut frond wrapped parcel of compressed rice. It's called ketupat, of their own harvest, meat from their own farms, and wealthy fresh bread. They presented a dynamic and lively dance and gamelan orchestra that had an effect on the inner spirit, and parallel carvings and paintings. All the time, it could be said that tourists visited Bali to see and look for nature, culture, and exotic Balinese people that was not comparable to others in the world. So Bali was dubbed the last paradise. Currently, one by one of exotic ones have disappeared. Now more women wearing complete clothes. Barely you see women with half naked in Bali compared to 1930s to 1960s, unless you visited beaches in some other areas. Of course, these are swollen by changes caused by modernization. Even though Bali has changed, many tourists still like to visit Bali and, of course, other areas of Indonesia. It seems that Bali still has so many powerful points of interest in the minds of visitors, either foreign or domestic ones. The visitors look indifferent to any changes occurring in Bali. Changes are considered certainly that cannot be avoided by any nations or community in the midst of this globalization. Globalization has taken uniform culture and lifestyle, starting from a sort of consumption, and the way to consume it is nearly the same. Behind the global culture and lifestyle, in fact, the Balinese community still shown their uniqueness. Religious rites, cultural activities, and customs face modernity, does not conquer each other, just like oil and water exist in repository, but still maintain their own identities. This matter is reflected by the luster of religious, cultural, and traditional activities. Its performance only limited by space and time of world entertainment, presentation like music, film, painting, exhibition, sport, and so forth. This reality attracts the interest of tourists. They generally start from curiosity on what actually generates the life dynamics in Bali, why Bali is still capable of showing its traditional countenance in the middle of the sound of global culture and lifestyles wheel. And you can see also this is very common in many tourism destinations all over Indonesia, not only in Bali. The Balinese people have left themselves far in progress, modern and rich on the one hand, and requiring the presence of change and expectation of advancement come after an international association, so that it is not only culture and lifestyle that does not show its Balinesism identity any longer, but also in architectural styles like residence and business sites, stalls, or shops. In the meantime, tourism remains to expect that Bali is still exotic. At least it remains to show its past characteristic But on the other hand, they would like to obtain modern, comfortable, and internationally standardized service of accommodation and transportation. You may be surprised that there is hotels in Bali which charge a room per night between $8,000 to $10,000. So you can find also very cheap hotels, very cheap rooms, which cost only $25. There are only two Bulgari hotels in the world, one in Italy and one in Bali. This is one of the most expensive hotels in Bali. If you have a lot of money, you want to spend $8,000 per night to live in, or stay in Bulgari hotel in Bali. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all and to express my deepest gratitude for your presence at our event today, a presentation of Indonesian tourism, an event that is dedicated to promote Indonesian tourism in Slovenia. I am very grateful to see representatives of important Slovenian players in travel and tourism business, and also representative from the government of Slovenia at our event today. This event will provide an impetus for good and long-standing cooperation between Indonesia and Slovenia, particularly in travel and tourism sector. I hope that after this event, Slovenian tour and travel operators, journalists and media, as well as hotel operators, will be able to further promote Indonesia to Slovenian tourists, and vice versa, the Slovenian people to Indonesia, and also Indonesian people for the Slovenian country. Through today's event, all of us, the Slovenian tour and travel operators, media and journalists, hotel operators, and Embassy of Indonesia can work together to convince Slovenian tourists that Indonesia deserves to be a favorite vacation destination, and also Slovenia is one of the most beautiful country in the world. As Sumahar probably said, small is beautiful. This is Slovenia. At the same token, we can work together also in promoting Slovenian tourism in Indonesia. There is no embassy as yet, in a Slovenian embassy in Jakarta, but there is no hindrance in our efforts to promote our endeavors to promote our tourism and also our two countries. I can assure you all of the full support and assistance of the Indonesian Embassy in providing the information and travel guidance you need in attracting Slovenians to spend their holidays in wonderful Indonesia. And also, we are very much open to promote Slovenia also in my country. To conclude, we would like to start by showing you a video on Indonesian tourism. I hope you will enjoy this presentation. Hvala lepa.